Well, hello everyone. My name is Connie Dotson, and I'm here to talk about two books that I'm going to be releasing on February 18, 2017. I'm here with Latoya J, who is going to be one of my artists that's going to be there on that day. The first book that I want to talk about is the manual. It goes along with the My Circle, My Life ministry, which is a ministry that I founded. It's a ministry that's built on a 7-dimensional circle. The 7 circles are the self-image circle, the intimate circle, the romantic circle, the social circle, health circle, and the economic circle. Within this actual manual, it's just so good for any woman that want to actually take the journey. And actually, one of our mottos is take the journey with us. And it's a journey to wholeness, a journey to just reclaiming your identity as a whole. Within this manual, it becomes actually a personal piece for you. And what happens is there are pieces of me in there that kind of talk about my own personal journey. I've also placed in there journaling areas where you can actually write out your own story. One of the things that I encourage women to do is to tell their own story. Also, I'm going to be releasing The Revelation of the Lady King, The Return of the Crown. It's actually a spin-off from the self-image circle that talks in detail about actually reclaiming your identity, actually standing as who you are in the earth realm as God has created you. The book itself, the name itself, has already started getting a little controversy because people automatically want to know how can you be a lady and a king too. The lady portion of this book actually talks about the gender of the person, and then the king portion talks about actually the position that you hold. But we're going to come back to talking about this. I want to let Latoya talk about some things that she has going on. I'm excited about her being there with me.
Hi, I'm Latoya J, and I'm very excited to have this opportunity to share with Miss Connie on her book release on February the 17th. I had the opportunity to come out as a new gospel artist on November the 25th. I did my first show, and God had moved in a mighty way on that night, and God had gave me the title Restore My Broken Places. It's a lot of things that I'll get more detail about why God gave me the opportunity to do Restore My Broken Places, but we'll talk about that more when Miss Connie released a little more about her book.
So one of the reasons why I chose Latoya is because the event being so personal for me. This journey for women sometimes is hidden and we don't talk about it enough. When I saw her video of the song that she did, Restore My Broken Places, it really blessed me because it was really speaking some of the things that I was actually writing. And it's like what I say all the time, you know, gotta give a vision to you, but it's tons of more people attached to that vision. Yes, and I feel like Latoya was one of those people that's attached to that vision. And so I'm thankful that she's going to be a part of that day with me. And I'm telling you, you don't want to miss it because I've enjoyed just hearing the song over and over again. But one of the things that's so amazing to me is about how you actually speak some of the words that's actually in the books that I'm writing. And so a lot of women are so afraid to tell that story. Tell me how you came to that point of telling the story.
Well, how I actually came to that point of finally telling my story, because I wanted to have confidence to know who I was and not be ashamed to tell where I came from. So it was a place where I knew that I was bitter, I was angry on the inside, and I knew I didn't want that lifestyle for me because it had me bound to a lot of things. So when I was able to face those hardships, I was able to learn a lot of new things about me. And I had to realize that I was a broken woman. I had to realize that I needed God to restore those places because of the journey, the negativity, and all the things, the life I was living. And I knew that God had purpose over my life more than what I was given in the past.
Yes.
So once I stepped into that to realize that I needed God. I needed God to heal me in the broken places that I was dealing with. So I was able to just face it and be able to talk about it. I couldn't talk about it at first.
Yes.
I was silent. And I tell this all the time. A lot of women, we close our mouth and we don't open up and tell the things that we went through, because a lot of times we be behind closed doors and they say, what stays in the house, don't go outside this door.
Yes,
so
right.
we was raised to be silent.
Yes.
But really we are dying on the inside. And that's just how I felt. But once God released me to open up, to testify about the things that I went through, that's what God birthed out of me, restore my broken places.
That's a level of breakout right there. I mean, because you're honestly, your ministry is real, and that's what people are looking for. It's genuine. And so a lot of times, you know, we see artists out there got beautiful voices, but they're not genuine. It's performance to them. Mm-hmm. But when you can come, you can't sing a song that touches somebody's heart like that unless you really done been in that place before. Yes. You got to be done been there. Mm-hmm. That's born from experience. It's born from experience, and then the release of it is actually born from the time spent with God in the process. Mm-hmm. And that's what a lot of women don't get, is that you got to go through that process. And when you go through that process, God release. And when you start releasing stuff, it's powerful. That's amazing. That's amazing, because one of the things that I keep saying in the manual is tell your own story. And it's power in telling your story. Whether you're writing it, you're singing it, you're giving a testimony about it, it's powerful to tell that story. Yes. And I guess that's what kind of drew me to you, because I'm drawn to people that don't mind telling the story. We have to be transparent enough to say, I've been through something. Yes. And what I realized was, even in creating this ministry, My Circle, My Life, that it's so many women ministries that don't touch on things, that the hidden things that we're dealing with. Yes. A lot of people are dealing with molestation, rape, things that happen in the house. And I like what you're saying. We're silent sometimes, and what happens in the house have to stay in the house. Yes. And so we're not talking about it, and we're shooting past it in different little ministries and stuff like that. But what My Circle, My Life has to offer is something that open you up enough to tell that story. Yes. To say, I need to get this out of me. And sometimes it doesn't even mean that somebody is that gonna apologize to you or anything like that. Right. You know. Yes. And so that's just amazing. We have a couple of more people that's gonna be there that week, and unfortunately they wasn't able to be here today. We have Connie Bello that's gonna be coming from Gulfport, Mississippi. She's with Chosen Art Dance Ministry. Yes. And they're going to be doing worship dance. And then we have Mika, who is a psalmist from Abundant Grace, and she's going to come and be a part of the event with us as well. Yes. And so I'm just encouraging you to come out. One of the things that I wanted to do was just make it all about empowering the woman. Yes. And so I've asked everybody, if you're going to be there, to go on and don your African attire and order the My Circle, My Life shirt. Yes, yes. And come in and just support, and let's just have a nice time of sisterhood. Another thing that I want to talk about and give a little bit more emphasis on is this book right here, which is The Revelation of the Lady King, The Return of the Crown. Now, I know that this sounds kind of odd. And it's already striking a nerve with some people. Some men are already reading it and going, oh my Lord. I had somebody say to me that, oh, you wrote a book that's going to put men in the doghouse. Wow. But that's not what it's about. Really, honestly, it's not. So this book is actually a spinoff of the Self-Image Circle, Latoya. And one of the things that I talk about in it is reclaiming our identity, which is what you're doing. Yes. You know, you're reclaiming it through your ministry, through your songs. And, you know, we talked a little earlier, and I was telling you that as women, we cannot be everything that God called us to be unless we come into our true identity. How do you feel about that? I absolutely agree with that. In order for us to be able to step into the purpose of what God has given us, we got to know our identity. Mm-hmm. Or we'll find ourselves for year after year doing things that has really nothing to do with us. We mimic other people. Yes. Instead of just finding out who we are, accepting the things that happen to us, and be able to embrace it. Mm-hmm. And face it and say it happened and there was a reason. And one of the songs on my CD that God given me that I wrote, it says, why me? Mm-hmm. And God began to deal with me about the why me, how we can turn the why me into how God was able to use what we went through, what I went through for his glory. Yes. I know now
that everything that I went through was for God's glory. A lot of times we don't understand why we had to go through the hardship or the hurt or the pain, but it's all about God's purpose. It's all about, everybody has to deal with something. Everybody has their own journey they have to go down to.
Yes.
But I just made up in my mind to embrace it.
Yes.
To know that it did happen and to be able to testify, to help somebody else. That's what my music is about.
Yes.
Is to be honest, to be able to restore other people that is broken, that is hurting, that is still grown and still dealing with the hurt and pain that they're dealing with now at what they dealt with it as a child. And a lot of times we grow up and be adults and still deal with that pain that we dealt when we was children.
That's right. That's right. That's just amazing. It's like I know you hadn't even read the manual yet, but it's like you're speaking the manual to me. One of the things I say is you got your own journey to take. Every woman has her own journey to take. How well you get through that journey is how much you decide to embrace where you've been. It's some hurt places there. But if they're hidden away and you're never talking about them, then you're never going to get healed from them.
That's correct.
So sometimes all the time, that is the first healing. The first part of the process of healing is to tell the story and get past it.
Yes.
Tell the story and get past it. Because not telling the story actually leave you in bondage. And so I just encourage every woman, if you're out there, get this manual. Get it and embrace it and embrace the process and embrace the journey and understand that you have to go through this. And not only that, but I even say don't even get the Lady King book until you've gotten the manual and actually read the self-image circle, because it's a spin-off from the self-image circle. It's very intense. So I'm encouraging you to please come out and share with us that day. Bring a friend. If you got a sister that's been going through something, bring them and let them come in here. And not only that, but get the products. And Latoya, be looking for Latoya J's new CD that's going to be coming out. It's going to bless you. It's really going to bless you, because it's blessing me. And so I just thank you. I thank you, Latoya, for being one that's going to come and really help us and give that meeting actually the feel that we're looking for, so that God can really bring some healing. Toward the end of the event, I'm going to be doing a prophetic release for the women that are there actually at the meeting. We're going to be releasing a prophetic word of the Lord to you to make sure that every woman leave knowing that there is a grace for you. There is a vision that God has for you, that He has a desire to bring us to an expected end. And sometimes we don't see. When you were going through, Latoya, you didn't see this moment.
No.
But God had always planned this moment. And that's the thing that I love about God. He plans our restoration even when we're going through and we don't know it. So I hope to see you there on February 17th. 2018 at 10 a.m. We're going to be having breakfast served there by a chef. Chef Victor Ward will be offering us breakfast. So from 10 to 10:30, we're just going to mix and mingle and eat breakfast and stuff. And then we'll go right on into the release of the prophetic word that God has given me through the revelation of the Lady King. So thank you all.